So I'm John McDonough. I'm the COO at REPA Group here in Germany, which is part of the broader Global Parts Town organization. REPA is a collection of companies that were brought together in an acquisition buy and build strategy by two companies, one in Germany and one in Italy, that bought a bunch of businesses across Europe, and it's collectively about a 400 million plus euro business. However, behind the scenes, it still operates much like all of the legacy businesses with different ERP environments, different web shops, etc. In 2023, we collected the entire leadership team of REPA into a room, and we said, okay, let's take a look at what do we look like today as a company, and are we in a position to execute the aspiration, or do we need to become something different? And out of that came an aspiration to get to one REPA, whatever that meant, whatever that would mean. And once the aspiration of what we want to become is understood, an honest assessment of structurally, are we capable of doing that on our own, or do we need to become something different, and do we need help? And the answer was, it's very different than what we look like today, and we're going to need help to figure out how to think about it and design it. I met Jürgen Lange in 2023. We wound up partnering on a targeted operating model exercise that said, if we look like X and we want to look like Z in the future, what do we need to do? And Jürgen brought a team of his folks into our offices. We had several workshops, and they led us through the process of a vision for the future that was led by CBS, but filled in and filled out by our senior leadership team. And when we came out of that, we understood the breadth of what needed to be done, not just kind of structurally, but also strategically what needed to be invested in, and how are we going to execute that over time. We're still in the midst of the transformation, so we have a very clear picture of where we're going, but it's affecting virtually every part of the organization. Right? The streams are kind of threefold. One is we knew we needed a new distribution center. That's been all approved. Ground is broken, it's under construction now, and it's going to give us the ability to rebalance and refocus our inventories to improve service levels and reduce some stress. The second one was the enabling elements that we would have to bring together and standardize in order to be able to initiate a future ERP journey. So all of those streams were kicked off post-TOM and are about a third to two-thirds of the way to completion today in all of those streams. And then the third piece is the whole ERP journey of how do we get from all of this collective of legacy systems onto one ERP that takes advantage of all of those standardizations and simplifications and harmonizations and gives us the scalability that we need. So today I would say we're, depending on the stream, a third to two-thirds of the way there, but we have daylight at the end of the tunnel rather than a train light looking us in the face. You know. Jürgen came with a team of talent to help us through that, and we have continued to work with Jürgen and Bastian and Philipp Kern on a lot of enablement projects since then. So we have the value of the TOM was extraordinary because it helped us to create our path and our roadmap. Since then, because they know us so well through the TOM and because they're familiar with what our resource pool is, we've been able to tap out into that team to come in and work with us when we're trying to fine-tune this particular work stream or that particular work stream or that particular work stream. So they've become, Jürgen, Bastian, and Philipp in particular, more recently, have become, effective members of our team. Yes, I would, for the reasons I just described.